Hello boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This video is for Course 2, 4th period class, Lesson 3-1, Estimating with Fractions and Mixed Numbers. So we're going to estimate sums, differences, products, and quotients of fractions and mixed numbers. Alright, so we have a vocabulary term that I think probably for many of us is going to be a new one. And it is a benchmark. And a benchmark is a convenient number used to replace fractions less than 1. Okay. And those three benchmarks, we actually have 3 of them, are the numbers 0, 1/2, and 1 whole. Okay, so anytime you're estimating with fractions, particularly adding and subtracting, we're going to want to use our benchmarks to do that. So for each fraction that you're given, you're going to decide if you had to place it on a number line, would you place it closer to 0, to 1/2, or to 1 whole? And use that as a replacement in the estimate. Okay, so let's look here. Using benchmarks with fractions. Use benchmarks to estimate 4/7 plus 4/5. Okay, now when you think about 4/7, 4/7 is very close to 1/2 because half of 7 is 3 1/2. I always focus on what would the half be. 3 1/2 is half of 7, so that's just slightly more than a half. So I'm going to round that to 1/2. 4/5 is rounded to 1 whole. These two numbers are neighbors on the number line 4 and 5. Usually when that's the case, that's going to round up to 1 whole. Okay? So then I add them. 1/2 plus 1 is 1 1/2. So the estimate is 1 1/2 found using benchmarks. Okay, estimating with mixed numbers. We want to estimate 5 1/9 minus 2 5/6. We're going to round to whole numbers here. So you might jot a note to yourself. Round to the nearest whole number. So again, you do kind of need to know, remember, half or more, you're going to bump up to the next higher whole number. If it's less than half, we're going to drop it down to just the whole number without the fraction, or we'll drop the fraction. So 5/9, 1/9 is just a little bit. It's clearly less than a half, so this is going to round to 5. This is 2 5/6. 5/6 is very close to 1 whole, and it's more than a half, so I'm going to round up to 3. So 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, so again, we round and then we subtract. So even with the benchmarks, we'll estimate each fraction or round them and then add or subtract. Okay, so you have a couple of examples here you can go through. I'm going to continue on with examples in the back. You can pause now or come back and finish later, whichever works best for you. This is estimating products with mixed numbers. So again, what we'll do here is we're going to round to the nearest whole number. And then we're going to multiply. So again, to estimate, you round and then you perform the operation. So 6 1/8 is closer to 6 than to 7, so I call that 6. 6 5/8, 4/8 would be half, so 5/8 is more than that. So this 6 5/8 is going to bump up to a 7. So 6 times 7 is 42. Our estimate here is about 42. For the product of 6 1/8 and 6 5/8. Okay. And we're back to compatible numbers. Remember earlier in the year we talked about compatible numbers as being numbers that work together very easily and very well. We want this to be easy. So I have to estimate the quotient of 26 1/4 divided by 8 2/3. Okay, and this is a little bit of, what do you want to use? What can you think of that's easy to use? Remember, we want to try to adjust the numbers a little bit without adjusting either one too terribly much. There is a lot more leeway on this than with the other types of estimation. So as I always emphasize in class, please write down what you do so I can understand what you were trying to do. If I make 26 1/4 27 and 8 2/3 9, those would be compatible because 27 divided by 9 is 3. And that's the idea. I want this to be a whole number. This should come out to be something that's close to these, although not the strict rounding rules, just something close to help me get what I want. Something easy to work so that I get a whole number answer for my estimate. Okay, there are a couple of more problems here, multi-part. Please have these finished so we can go over them in class next time we meet. Write down your work so we can discuss any differences we might come up or errors that we might find as well. I look forward to seeing you soon.